Hey everyone, welcome to That Pedal Show. Dan here.
Mick here.
And
Jack Ruch here. Hello.
come on, ladies and gentlemen, the wonderful Mr. Jack Ruch, joining us all the way from
Nashville, Tennessee.
That's right.
Very hot and sunny,
there.
just like here.
Awesome, mate. Look, thank you so much for popping in to say hello. This is wicked.
It's great to be here. I'm such a huge fan, and it's great to be with you guys. Thanks for having me. Yeah.
No, so welcome, mate.
Awesome. We've got the first question out of the way, which is how to pronounce Jack's surname, which I'm sure I've got wrong on video at least once.
That's fine.
Ruch.
That's okay. Yeah. You're in the company of many great guitar players who have gotten my name wrong.
So you might know Jack from his various courses, True Fire, Brett Papa. You might know him from his own YouTube channel. You may have seen him play. We're going to get into the discussion about all of that. Jack also has a new record out, For Her Love,
Yeah.
which we've been binging on in the last few days, so we'll get into that as well. Guitars, pedals, amps, all that stuff.
Yeah.
What are you doing in the UK?
So I'm teaching a workshop with Guitar Breaks up in Shrewsbury on Sunday, and I think I'm doing another teaching thing in Guildford on Thursday. And then just here with my family, doing a little holiday and doing some promotion for the record, coming to see you guys, and just having a great time.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Jack, before we get into guitars and amps and pedals and stuff, it's always nice to just hear a bit of playing history. Like, what we hear in your playing is this wonderful mixture of jazz and blues.
Yeah.
And we are kind of interested in how that came to be. Like, how did you get going? How did it develop?
Yeah, well, like a lot of people, I guess, I got into, Hendrix was like my first big guitar influence, which is obviously very bluesy, but also like really diverse. So I think that kind of planted the seed to just be into a lot of music. And then as a teenager, I was a pretty die-hard blues fanatic, Freddie King, Albert Collins, all those types of guys, B.B. Albert. And then as I got a bit older, I started to discover jazz kind of later in life. But it once I got into it, it kind of took over.
When you say later in life, what period is
like
that?
Late 20s, early 30s.
Right.
Yeah, I wasn't like I wasn't a young kid studying and listening to jazz. I kind of got into it through Ray Charles, who I love, and then listening to Oscar Peterson and Cannonball Adderley, and a lot of like 50s bebop and 60s soul jazz kind of stuff.
But not guitar players specifically.
No, not really. Even though I do like, I love Joe Pass, Wes Montgomery, Grant Green. Later on, I kind of discovered those guys.
Yeah.
And started the long road of transcribing stuff and trying to figure that out. But really, it all kind of seamlessly blends into the blues thing.
Yeah, okay.
It always kind of comes back to that for me,
Can you remember, because for a lot of those of you watching, maybe you're using Jack's courses or you're going to spend some time with him on one of these teaching weekends, or outside of that, no matter who we talk about, Larry Carlton, Robin Ford, Schofield, all these great guitar players that we know that have sat somewhere in this space between jazz and blues. Can you recall what it was that made you say, I get the Freddie thing, I get the BB thing, but I'm hearing something different here?
Well, that kind of started earlier before I even got into really learning jazz. I saw Ray Charles when I was 14 or 15.
Wow.
So right towards the end of his career. And he had an incredible guitar player with him, a guy named, I'm probably mispronouncing it, but I think his name is Brad Rabichin. And he was phenomenal and played all these amazing chords, like that kind of Freddie Green rhythm style, big band kind of rhythm guitar style. But then when he would solo, he kind of played bluesy like BB, and that kind of planted the seed. And then I started learning some of those tunes. And, when you're learning these songs, if it's something, that has like, these kind of changes, just discovering that like minor, that 2-5-1, a minor 7 to the flat 9, and that voice leading stuff, just figuring that out, and then going, okay, well, what do I play over that? And you go, you know, you figure out those scales and those chords, and then it just sort of takes over like a virus, and you're kind of addicted to learning more of that stuff.
Were you figuring that out by ear, or did someone, what we did the melodic minor stuff, or did that
kind
come
of
later?
a combination of a lot by ear, but then also, you know, just reading and studying. I mean, there's so much information out there. So yeah, I definitely figured out about the modes of melodic minor. A lot of that is just kind of like almost like a math problem.
Yeah,
I would lay in bed at night and kind of think about what can I do with the melodic minor, and then I you know, pick up the guitar in the morning and figure out stuff to do with it, and then just finding little things that I liked. You know, I kind of view like one of my favorite jazz guitar players is Grant Green, and if you listen to Grant Green, he plays a lot of the same ideas a lot in tunes, blueses and even standards. He kind of plays like a blues player, like a B.B. King, where he has his bag of vocabulary and he just sort of puts that in everything. And that's kind of how I view a lot of things, is like listening to Albert Collins or B.B. King or Albert King, you go, oh yeah, that guy has that thing that he does all the time, that limited vocabulary, but super powerful. And I go, okay, well, how can I play like that over different types of song forms? So yeah, like things like with melodic minor, for instance, you know, if we take like, say we're playing a blues in B flat, right? And I want to play a melodic minor idea to go to the 4 chord, right? Something like that. Kind of a B. It would be basically be like a B melodic minor idea. So I play that major minor 9 arpeggio a lot. That's like a lick I play all the time, almost like B.B. King would play the same lick all the time. I just, you know, I like that sound. You know, that kind of thing. So, yeah, I don't know what the question was, but that's kind of what we're talking about.
But it's so interesting. I've been trying to learn this stuff for so long, and you know, Mick and I are very spoiled, and we are surrounded by amazing guitar players, and you know, Robin Ford, Matt Schofield, and these guys will come in and show us this stuff. And it is one thing to understand it, and it's even one thing to have it in your fingers. It's another thing to make it into music.
Yeah.
You know, and you're talking about your vocabulary. For you, what was that journey behind getting it in your head and actually, like I hear it all over your new album. Yeah. And you'll play these phrases that just make you go, oh, it's so musical.
Oh, thank you. A lot of it's just playing a lot of gigs, you know, and just doing it over and over again. Because for me, that's kind of the process. Is like you learn the stuff, you practice the stuff, and then you have to go out and apply it. And that takes a long time. That can take years with things like that. And I'm lucky enough to get to play a lot,
right?
And get to play stuff where I get to improvise and stretch out. But that's kind of the process. And then just sort of having a sound in your head of something you're going for, sort of an intention and a direction you want to go, and then leaning into that. I think there's a lot of guitar players that have way more chops than I do, but sometimes you see guys, they haven't really found their direction yet. You know, and I think that's kind of a process. The guys that I love, whether they're, you know, jazz guys with a huge vocabulary or blues players with a smaller vocabulary, they have their
Yeah.
their voice and their direction.
It's interesting from my perspective because I don't have that extra harmonic knowledge and appreciation. And sometimes when I listen to guys who are really out there, because you can push and push and push, right? There's harmony upon harmony upon harmony until you get so far away it's hard to know where home was, and that's great as an exploration. And I get that that's the ultimate expression of the art.
Yeah.
But when you play, I can hear the chords.
Yeah.
I can hear, I can hear what the chords are doing underneath. And not even that, it would help me work the chords out to listen to the way you play over the changes.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, getting deeper into jazz, it really is an acquired taste, as a listener. And you develop, your ear develops, and you can start to understand more complex stuff. But I always have to connect things back to the blues.
Yeah.
To me, that's just what I like the most. So it never strays that far away from that. And there's nothing wrong with just playing the chords of the song and playing a simple melody. Melody's kind of the main thing.
Yeah.
No matter what you're doing. Because, John Scofield, who's one of my favorite guitar players, can get pretty out there, but it's melodic.
Right.
Even if he's playing some kind of idea that maybe your ear isn't used to hearing, it's so melodic that you kind of go with it anyway.
John, we'll talk about guitars, pedals and stuff in a minute. John Scofield is a nice segue then, because one of my favorite Scofield records was it called Blue Matter, or was the track called Blue Matter?
There's a track and the album is called Blue Matter.
That's what it was. And playing drums on that is a guy called Dennis Chambers, who was playing on your latest record.
Yeah, Dennis and Gary Granger played bass as well, both on my new record, which is amazing. And I'd say it's a dream come true, but I didn't know you could dream about things like that. It just sort of happened, So an amazing experience. Those guys were fabulous to work with. And those records, there's that record and there's another one called Loud Jazz, which are that same band and just phenomenal. Yeah.
It's so interesting listening to your album and sort of hearing you play and talking to you, that the album, it feels like more like a big band, but it's, as opposed to, this is a guitar album, it's like you're a big band leader, and it's like, and here's some guitar stuff, but you're just as likely to hear a trumpet solo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, this is definitely an ensemble, and this is the music, and there's some amazing guitar in here, but it's not about the guitar primarily, it's about the music.
Yeah. Well, it's predominantly instrumental. Which I like singing, but I also like instrumental music too. But I think if it's too guitar heavy, for me, it just can kind of get a little bit boring.
Right.
The instrumental records I like are ensemble records with a lot of great players, where, a lot of jazz records particularly, and I kind of did this with my album, is put everybody's name right on the cover.
Yeah.
Right.
When you look at an old Blue Note cover, it's like, okay, it's a Hank Mobley record, but there's Wynton Kelly's on piano, and you're kind of like, well, I want to hear that too, or who's on drums? It's Elvin Jones or somebody like that. So, that's kind of what I like. You buy a Miles Davis record because of all the guys that are on it. Of course. So that was definitely intentional.
Right.
Also, that's just how I like to play. I'm not really the look at me guitar player out front. I'm cool with standing in the background and letting other people do their thing and then stepping up when it's time.
How much of that album is live?
It's all live except for there's obviously some keyboard overdubs because there's layered keyboards on some songs. There's some guitar overdubs because there's rhythm and lead.
But it does sound like a live band, It sounds like...
Yeah, we tracked it all live. Live.
Great.
There's, we touched up some solos, did extra takes of trumpet solos or piano solos or guitar solos. I did a few overdubs later at another studio just because I wanted to experiment with different sounds. You know, you'll cut a track and you go, you know, I don't love the tone on that. I'd like a little more gain or whatever. So, you know, and after you listen to it a few times, you go, I could do something better than that. But pretty much it's all, we would do like 3 takes usually. We'd kind of rehearse the tune, maybe do a little run through, then do a take. Usually that was still sort of a rehearsal. And then second and third take is basically what's on the record. Either one of those. Yeah.
What about the Latin feel on the track? So the second track, is it Sunset?
Yeah.
Sunset. Is that a specific influence, or was that just the feel that you wanted to go for?
Well, the writing, so the way I wrote the record, I actually had the session booked and the musicians all lined up before I had all the songs together. It was kind of like, okay, I've got this opportunity to do this. And then it's like, okay, well, what are we going to play? And so the Latin song and the third song, which is kind of a funk thing, those were songs that were written kind of with that band in mind. I knew, you know, playing with Dennis in particular, it would be cool to play a Latin feel thing and have him solo. And it would be cool to, obviously, you got to play a funk song, a New Orleans kind of funk thing. So those songs were written specifically for the project.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a bit where Dennis kind of gets going and you can hear Adam, keys player, just like going,
hang on, boys,
here's
we're going in.
Dennis is like, I know where one is. None of you guys
Those were
do.
the hardest parts. There were.
It's a trip to hear you all play together, and for it to be this, it feels like an ensemble record.
It's
rather
amazing.
than exactly what you said before.
Yeah, well, and it's like it's pretty open and for improvising. It was just kind of like, here's the basic tune, and then let's just play. And you know, I'm big on, like, I don't want to tell anybody what to play. I just want to, you know, if you hire the right people, obviously they're going to do, you know, the right thing. And you know, when you have people that special, it's like you don't want to direct it too much. Just let them do their thing, and then it becomes whatever it is, you know, and just let it happen.
2 specific guitar questions, just about 2 specific tracks. The opening track for For Her Love.
Yeah.
Dan and I were discussing this before.
When I first heard it, I thought, wow, that's an amazing Strat tone, like amazing. And then I was on your Instagram, and it's like every single classic guitar except for a Strat.
Yeah, I don't own a Strat.
And it's like, so it had to be a neck pickup on a Telecaster.
Yeah, it's a neck pickup on a Tele. The opening part, you know, which is kind of like the tremolo thing. That's a 335, probably in the middle position, clean. I can't remember exactly, but that's what I was playing when we tracked it. I think that's the guitar I played mostly on tracking, the tracking days. Yeah. And then that was one of the songs where afterwards I thought it'd be nice to have a little bit more Fender-y kind of clean thing for that lead. So I did that later as an overdub.
And it's such a beautiful sound. What do you remember the amp that you're using for that one?
I think it's a Princeton Reverb, or it's either my friend's Benson Monarch amp, which was just at the studio and we just used because it sounded great.
Yeah, magic.
But clean. I don't know if there's any pedals. We did some stuff afterwards, delays and reverbs and stuff later.
Or post on the...
Yeah, I think so.
There's a bit of breakup in it, though. Like,
definitely.
You can... and that's
I'm not exactly sure. Yeah. You know, when you're just recording, you're like, try this. No, that's not working. Step on this. It was this pedal board, though, I think, on all those tracking days.
Because I was saying to Mick before, listening to the tones on it, because the dynamic range that you have across it is massive. So, you know, you're playing on your touch, you know, it translates into this thing where you seem to have so much headroom. So when you want to build something, you seem to have lots of places to go.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah, I think if there's headroom like your actual dynamic headroom with your gear, but there's also headroom in terms of like your ideas, and like if you play too busy of lines right out of the gate, or you play too many notes, or you're up the fretboard too much early on, then you don't really have room to develop a solo. So I'm always thinking really melodically, and if there's a place where I want to play some more faster lines and more chops, I kind of make sure it's in the right spot to have the right impact.
Right.
But yeah, definitely like that solo, I can't remember if I know it all, but it's in E flat. Just following the chord. So you can kind of, play your... coming down to that A flat chord. And then, a lot of it is arpeggios. That's just melodic stuff following the chords,
Yeah, but it's so melodic.
Minus a few wrong notes, but what are you going to do?
But
play them again.
Yeah.
Sorry to get nerdy.
Yeah.
But it's one thing to say and to quote all these really melodic players, and how do you develop a sense of melody? Because I think musically there are so many options, and and dynamically and stuff. The guitar is such an amazing instrument for that. But actually to get back to basics and to develop just a basic sense of melody within all of the complexity.
Yeah, well, I think knowing the song itself really well, like knowing the chord progression and having a good feel for the rhythm. I mean, even just really have, like those chords in that solo. Really knowing where those chords fall, knowing the chords really inside and out. And then, it's partly like kind of singing melodies, like hearing sort of a natural vocal melody, but also just blues stuff, thinking like, okay, I practice a lot this way, like, I'll play over a tune like that, which isn't really a bluesy progression, but think, okay, just play simple. Play blues over it, and then you come up with things like, simple phrases like that have kind of their natural space built in, and just play that, and be cool with just leaving it at that, and then you can build on it, you can start outlining the changes a little bit, and then... And, once you get into stuff like that, then having the chords on your fingers, really it's like this kind of architecture of harmony or the guitar, the fretboard, which is to know the chord shape, and then understand, if you're playing an E major 7, the arpeggio and then the scale, having those layers. But for me, a lot of it is just chord tones, targeting chord tones. If you're targeting, the root, 3rd, 5th, 7th of a chord, and you're tying it into the phrases that you're playing, it's going to start sounding melodic. And I think even just
beautiful.
learning that stuff, you start to play the notes that your ear's wanting anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't know that it wants you to play, you know, that note over that chord, or that note over that chord or whatever. But as you start practicing it, it starts to fall under the fingers.
And would you say working on arpeggios is a good thing to do if you're trying to get some of that stuff down?
Absolutely, yeah. Like one of the things I talk about a lot in teaching is just applying arpeggios to a blues, but it kind of comes from like practicing standards and trying to learn standards, because you have to, if you really want to play through changes that aren't diatonic, you know, you've got to sit there, you know, if you're playing like you know, like one of the songs on the record, I Fall in Love Too Easily, is an old standard, which starts with just a 2-5-1 to E flat, and it's like, yeah, even just that, you know, getting that automatic, because then it opens the door to playing a line. You know, a nice 2-5-1 line, which is just arpeggios,
Yeah.
you know.
But it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And if that's all you played over those chords, people, you can call yourself a guitar player.
It's all I'm playing over those chords, yeah.
I've never got there. But it is, when you hear it, it's...
Well, what the way for somebody, because I'm similar to you in the sense that I play a lot. I play a lot of blues. You know, I like to play a lot of blues. But a lick like that, if you're playing a blues in B flat, you know, say you're playing a shuffle, you can put that 2-5-1 in to get to the 4 chord. Except instead of a major 7, you'd go to a dominant 7. But that kind of line, you know. Into all your stuff, you know, all your blues stuff. So that's kind of how I got into it, you know, because you listen to Robin Ford or you listen to any of these great players and you go, well, how do I, and Robin has his own amazing vocabulary of stuff, but you just start investigating kind of ways to add more harmony in there and then play over it. A lot of what I play is just playing over the chords. I just put more chords in there. I think sometimes limitations can be your friend too. You know, being
I've got so many friends.
Yeah, I mean, well, just like some limitations with technique or you know, I never was the fastest player. So you listen to some guys and they can always impress with a solo because they can just play really fast stuff. And I'm kind of like, well, okay. First of all, I don't necessarily want to play that way, but I don't have the facility to play that way. So it's like, okay, well, how can I get that same level of interest with other tools? So like, to me, that's kind of harmony. But also just, you know, you get bored with playing the same stuff and you want to grow and move in different directions. So yeah, I mean, I've always loved guitar players that have a distinctive and unique sound, and it was never really an option to do anything else. It was just kind of like, well, I'm just going to try to find my thing, you know.
To do that.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll talk about some of that stuff in a minute, about how careers divided up these days and all of that. First off, let's give, if you're at the beginning of this journey and you're interested in learning more about this, Jack, which one of your courses should people go for, would you say?
Well, the ones that I've done with Brett Papa are, I think, the best courses that I've done. We've done 5 of them. They all kind of touch on a lot of the same topics, and they're all kind of geared towards maybe early intermediate players, but there's a lot of beginner information in there too, and some of them get pretty advanced, but they're pretty broad, so they appeal to a big audience. But we did one a few years ago called The Magic of Triads. That's the most popular one that I've done. And it's specifically about learning triads and using them around the fretboard for rhythm and lead stuff. That one seems to be really popular. But they're all great. The newest one that we did is my favorite, called Melodic Blues Soloing. I think that's what it's called. Where I basically just kind of broke down the way that I like to play.
Pretty sure that's the one I bought, actually.
Oh, yeah.
And I got to lesson 3.
Oh, great.
And as I always do with these things, I get to lesson 3 and go, my head is starting to hurt. I'd better go and cut the lawn. So I need to get back to it. I need to
well,
get back to
that's
it.
fine. Cutting the lawn needs to be cut.
It needs to be done. Tell us about this guitar.
This is a Les Paul. This one was done by Historic Makeovers. I bought this guitar earlier this year. I saw it on a friend of mine has a Historic Makeovers Les Paul that I played, and I really liked it. And then I saw this one for sale on their website, and it looked pretty cool. And I never buy guitars online. I always want to play them first, but I figured I'd take a chance. Worst case scenario, I just resell it. But it really has been great. It showed up, beautiful. And it's really, really phenomenal.
And for those of you who don't know, Historic Makeovers basically take a new custom shop Les Paul.
Yeah, they reshape the neck. They do like the stuff that, just make it really feel.
But they strip it back, right? To bare wood.
They strip it back, yeah.
Recarve it, redo the binding, change the fingerboard, a few other things.
Yeah, it's really a makeover.
Yeah.
But the finish really feels good. It's really soft. That's my main thing with new guitars, is the finish can be thick and goopy, and it just doesn't. Even in this unusual, humid and hot English weather we're having, it feels really good. Yeah.
And is Les Paul your go-to guitar? Your number one
No, not
guitar?
really. This is the best. This one has been lately, but my 335 is probably my favorite guitar.
That's kind of what we associate you with.
Yeah, and then I played tellies a lot. I've when I moved to Nashville, I got a telly, and I played that almost exclusively for 5 or 6 years.
Wow.
I like them too, but the 335 is kind of probably my go-to. This is just a little bit easier to travel with. These days traveling with a guitar is a bit stressful,
How important was moving to Nashville for your playing?
Oh, it was huge. Just for my life in general. I moved there, got married, bought a house, had kids, sort of got out of my crazy 20s and got my life together there. So, yeah, it was great outside of music. It was great in a lot of ways, but specifically for guitar, it was huge to be in that city around so many great players. And one of the things that's so amazing about there is how open and nice everyone is. And players that were like huge heroes of mine or people that I really admired are now all my friends, which is really, touching and amazing.
Awesome.
You care to drop any names? Or?
Well, one of my best friends is Guthrie Trapp. We're actually, we're doing, I'll plug his little workshop that we're doing in October. We're doing a Nashville guitar workshop or camp kind of thing. It's going to be 3 days, and people are flying in from all over the place to do that. With me, Tom Bukovac, and Jed Hughes, and Guthrie. That's going to be amazing. And I think the plan is to do them regularly, like once or twice a year.
Oh, fantastic.
But we're doing the maiden voyage in October. And then, so many people. My friend Pat Bergeson, who's one of the great guitar players in Nashville, Yeah, there's so many great players, man.
Because you're around it. And do you session? Do you do sessions?
Once in a while. I mean, usually just for friends. Not a ton, but you know, a few times a year, maybe. Yeah.
That pedal show.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Probably about an hour in. So is this a travel board? Is this your main board? Is this your... Tell us about this.
This is my third board that I've had done from my friends at Exact Tone Solutions in Nashville. Barry and Eric.
Barry,
put this thing together.
Yep.
And the first board I did was a small live board, which is still kind of my main like board for clubs and small gigs and for flying a lot. And then we did a big studio board, which just lives at my studio where I film. And that's what I take to sessions. This board I wanted to have done as sort of a little bit bigger gigging board. And mainly with my band, a lot of times playing live, I sing a lot. And I was struggling with operating the pedal board and singing. Different types of switches at different heights. You know, you go to hit a pedal and you miss it or something. So that's why I got the Quartermaster to try that out, which has been great. It's a great unit. And so everything's nice and in a line. The switches are really great. So yeah, but I mean, a lot of this stuff is like these three, the King of Tone, the Tremolo, and the Brigadier are kind of on all my boards.
Yeah.
Those are kind of my go-tos.
The Brigadier for me is probably the most underrated Strymon delay out there.
It's the only one I really like.
Yeah, it's fabulous.
Because it's simple. You know, I've had the other ones. The timeline is too much for me. And yeah, it's great. It's really great. They're harder to find nowadays, but yeah, it's...
Yeah, I mean, what do you use it for? What?
Usually, well... We've got a little bit more maybe than I would usually use. It's like if I'm playing live through loud amps with a band, I'll kind of turn the delays down. But sometimes like this, playing just by myself, I like a little bit more delay. But usually that kind of 3, maybe 4 repeats that kind of die out and then just, you know... There's that ground.
Yeah, we've got an earth problem somewhere. We're not sure where it is.
This, you know, with the tap tempo, I'll just, you know, I can go to almost a slap or go to a longer delay. That's with the King of Tone on. Usually I set my amps kind of how they are here, where I can play. For clean rhythm stuff.
That's that dynamic thing. It's like it's beautiful chords, and it's like a snare hit. It's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and
that's
then
great.
It's that open, that neck pickup sounds too. It's just
it's
beautiful.
good. The tremolo I use a lot for rhythm. For pretty stuff, you know, I'll put those two on. then the phaser, which I really love.
That's a great one.
Yeah, that's a really great one. That I pretty much just use for rhythm on funk and R&B stuff, you know. But it's so great to have on there because, especially when you're playing in a band, just to have that little bit of movement in the sound. Yeah, I love that thing.
That's
That is
so cool.
killer. If all phasers sound like that, I'd bloody use one, Dan.
Though, yeah, that's a good one to find. I don't know, you know, I don't know the history of vintage electro harmonics pedals that well, but I went into a shop in Nashville and I was thinking I was going to buy like a Phase 90, and I had them line up like 10 different phasers, and that was the last one I plugged in, and it was like just wipe the
There it
floor
is.
with
That's
everything.
it.
So
It's so cool.
Okay, I want to ask you about overdrive and how you use that in a second.
yeah.
But if all guitars sounded that good,
I know.
I think far fewer people would use overdrive pedals then.
I
It's
agree.
just,
It's such a
I mean,
great
like,
sounding
it's you,
guitar.
right? It's you. We know it's you. But it's just a beautiful sound. Just a killer guitar, man.
When and I'll kind of take you through a little bit of this. So when I'm playing rhythm, most of the time it's clean, unless I'm playing on a track or with somebody else where I need an overdriven rhythm thing. But my music is not really, you know, I don't really need that heavy overdriven rhythm sound. So I kind of, for my, and then for soloing on this board, like my first step would be to use just a clean boost, you know. So if you're, and I'll put the delay on too. With no boost, and then just a little bit extra. And then from there, I'll kick on either this side of the King of Tone, which is a little bit nicer on the neck pickup, a little bit brighter, a little bit clearer.
So beautiful.
And then if I'm going for a little bit, I don't use a lot of gain, but if I want a little bit more of that singing kind of thing, I'll go to the bridge pickup and use the Nobles.
I guess it's the envelope and the way you play. It's almost like there's some kind of compressor going on here because there's this delivery of the note. Maybe it's the guitar, it's you. I don't know what it is. I'm looking around going, where's the compressor?
No, that's I think that's in the right hand.
Yeah.
Because I kind of think about that a lot, actually.
There's like this bloom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that a lot. Well, tone-wise, like, back to Robin's like, you know, as far as a guitar sound on a record, his stuff, especially like the Tiger Walk album.
Yeah, my favorite.
That's like my favorite guitar.
I've been getting into that.
Like, the clean tones and the dirty tones. And then Larry Carlton too is a huge like tonal influence. I saw him live when I was probably 18 or so with the 335 and the Dumble and everything. And his live tone was just incredible. And it has that, and those guys can make any amp sound amazing. And I've seen them with other amps and they sound amazing. But there's something about them with the Dumble thing where it's loud. There is that bloom to the notes. And obviously I don't own a Dumble. But I kind of I think about that when I'm playing, with like vibrato and things, and using the fingers and using the pick. It's like muting with the hand too. I mean, if I'm playing something like that, I'll kind of mute it a little bit. Really sing. Things like that. Yeah, a lot of that I don't even think about it, honestly. It kind of just happens in the hands.
Imagine that, Dan. Tone is in the hands.
Oh,
just imagine if anyone had ever said that. Oh man, that is.
I just want to play Les Pauls now.
That is really something. That is really something.
Thank you.
I don't know. I'm just sort of taken aback a bit by that. And you are actually half damping that string when you hit some of those notes.
Yeah. Well, like, and we're playing like in the middle of the neck. Just a phrase like that. I mean, some of those notes are kind of getting a little bit of this part of the hand, Yeah, and it's more just about hearing the notes how you want them to come, and probably somewhere along the line kind of practicing it, but I don't even remember that. It's just more you kind of hear the line and you hear that kind of envelope and that movement of the line, how you want it to sound, and mostly it's like you can kind of do it by just choking everything except the note you really want.
Yeah.
To bloom. And you can do it with the pick and fingers too. Me doing, which I don't do so much on this guitar, but on a telly, using the fingers a lot, doing something like, making those notes really. And then, with bending, not doing vibrato is like really powerful, which took me a long time to figure out. Like, you're young, and when I was young, I would just always put vibrato on everything, but not doing vibrato sometimes. Waiting till the end of a phrase. Something like that. I'm kind of, there's a lot going on, I don't know.
When you, at the beginning of talking about it, it sounded really mad. And then when you make the point, like, it's not dissimilar to using the flesh of your fingers on a note, because it's your choice to how to release that note. And naturally it dulls it off a bit, right? When you
and it just has to do with dynamics. It's like how it's like you don't pick every note the same with the same strength. I'm not going to play. If I play, it doesn't sound very good. But if I start doing that, it gives it all of a sudden music. Just things like that.
As if learning the notes wasn't hard enough. Right?
So good.
That's probably killer. In the environment that you get to play normally, then, is there the space for that dynamic? Because one of the things many of us will come up against is if you're in a loud band and everything's happening, exploring those dynamics can be tough.
Yeah. Well, playing with musicians that understand dynamics is huge. That's one of the things that I think gets kind of lost in music nowadays, especially, and not so much live, but also just the way everybody consumes music. It's very compressed because it's all digital and it's all on the computer or on the phone. And there's this kind of push towards making everything louder and more in your face. But live, just playing with like-minded musicians who kind of think dynamically. And sometimes it's a conversation you just have to have, like some of my friends, we kind of talk about dynamics on like a scale of 1 to 10. And it's like, hey, let's not get above a 5. Let's just play this song down here. And then we have all this room to go.
Oh, interesting. That's great.
I love it.
Yeah.
Quick career question.
Yeah.
Again, before we ask you to play us some more, Jack.
Yeah.
How does it work these days then? So you have a number of hats you wear.
Yeah.
Literally and figuratively. Artist, obviously, because you've got a new record out. Educator.
Yeah.
The odd session. Yeah. And, of course, the reality for all of us these days, online. How does that balance out for you?
Well, it's kind of all one thing in a way, but there's definitely specific jobs. My online thing and my teaching thing are kind of intertwined. I'm posting educational stuff to YouTube and then doing my Patreon site, which is kind of connected to that. But that's all kind of based on like the way that I play guitar, which is sort of ties into the artist thing, not as much as like putting out a record, but I only have a career as a guitar teacher because I play the way that I do. I'm not a college professor. I'm not the guy that can show you how to play a Metallica song. I don't know any of that, and I don't,
But people have heard you play and gone, show me how you do that.
Yeah. Which is what
I'm going to be doing later on.
Kind of a cool thing about social media.
Yeah, sure.
And it's a kind of a new thing. But so it is all sort of intertwined, but the social media thing, as you guys know, is, it's unrelenting, and you just have to keep your foot on the gas and just keep going,
But it enables you to have a career as a musician. Right?
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah. It's amazing. As bad of a rap as social media gets in some aspects, it's amazing. I mean, my life wouldn't be the way it is without it. And to be able to have any kind of career playing guitar these days, but also a career with freedom, to have a family and just to get to play what you want to play. It's pretty incredible. Yeah.
Friend of mine, Justin Sanico.
Yeah.
He told me the other day, he said, this great saying that he found. He said, you asked for the bicycle, now pedal it.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's weird because, my generation or our generation of people, we grew up before all this modern stuff.
Completely. It is weird.
And, my dream of being a guitar player as a kid completely changed from what reality is now.
Yeah, sure.
Watching MTV or listening to the radio and hearing all these bands with guitar that were really mainstream and popular, and you form this dream of what you want to do for your career. And then you plop into like the 2000s and none of that stuff exists anymore.
Yep.
And you have to find a new way. And for a long time, it was tough because there wasn't social media and there wasn't an avenue for somebody independent to kind of find their own way. But now it's pretty amazing because you can really be a niche kind of player or teacher and find people all around the world. So it's just opened things up. And it's great. It's just a lot of work.
Yeah.
But it's like if you're lucky enough to get your foot in the door, it's like, well, you're lucky enough to be able to work really hard.
Completely.
And, hard work is one side of it. The other side is being good. And
Completely.
That's what will out in the end, because a million people rushed into that space.
Yeah.
And the ones still standing generally are the good ones. What strings do you use?
I use 10s, NYXLs.
Yeah.
Just regular 10 to 46. Yeah. On all my guitars.
All the best guitar players use 10s, Dan.
Yes. Yeah. I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
What do you use? I used
11s.
11s for 15 years probably.
Yeah, I'm still 1152s. I can't get away from them.
I've gone down to 10.5s. But we're just learning how to play more considered, would you say?
Yeah. I find that because of my clawed hands, that when I go to lighter strings, I'm over bending and all that stuff. It's especially because I'm not playing live anywhere near as much as I used to. And when you get on stage and the adrenaline hits, and
for sure.
It's like, yeah.
I played 11s from the time I was a kid until I was about 30. And I bought a Telecaster when I moved to Nashville. And that was really the reason to switch to 10s, because I found like playing the 11s on the telly to get the bends to sound the way you want, especially if you're trying to play any kind of country type thing. Right. It just didn't sound right. Yeah. It was a tonal thing. Okay. And then I switched to them and then I got comfortable on them. But a friend of mine brought a Les Paul to a gig the other day with 11s on it. It was a real 59. He said, "You got to play this." And I'm like, "Well,
of course he did."
I wasn't like, "Well, it's got 11s on it. Get that out of here."
No.
I was like, "Yeah, I'll play it." So I played it, and it was really comfortable, And I was like, "Oh yeah,
It's still there.
I think the NYXLs have a tiny bit more tension. They feel like they have a tiny bit more tension.
They might
compared to the regular
They might. Yeah, I'm with you though. I can't play anything lighter than a 10 without it being really weird and uncomfortable. But you do get a little bit more. I mean, you get more control, but it's all different. I also like playing a big arch top with heavy strings on it. That's a whole different experience. The way the pick kind of rolls off the strings, you can, it's very comfortable to play here. But you're not going to be bending.
So,
Dan, I've got one more technical question. Do you have any more questions?
For me, it was your question before about which of the videos is a big one.
The question I've got is slightly more technical, and it relates to something you've played on the record, and maybe this will tee us into you leaning into that a bit as by way of an outro. There's a cover of the Blind Faith song, Can't Find My Way Back Home. You guys might know a Bonnie Raitt version of it as well, which is really lovely. And really, hopefully it'll bring us full circle to the conversation we started to have at the beginning. And it's about your approach. Among my favourite bit of guitar playing on the record is the solo you play.
Oh, yeah.
Over that. So everyone takes a round. The song's in B flat, I guess.
Yeah, it's in B flat.
There's a key solo, a trumpet solo, or the other way around, and then you come in. Stays on that kind of one vamp for a while.
It's kind of.
But when it goes to the change section,
Yeah.
What you play over that is just beautiful. And
Well,
I think,
I'm sure I can't remember it, but I'll try.
I think what you're doing is implying those 2-5-1s as the chords change. I think that's what you're doing. I don't know.
Yeah, well, the chord progression this is sort of this chromatic descending thing. You know, which all of that you can go kind of play B flat,
Yeah.
you know, and then over. Just kind of playing that kind of stuff.
It's interesting in itself, isn't it? Because the first note the bass plays is a tone down from there, that descending run.
Oh, is it really?
So if you,
well, I don't know. I might have missed that one.
Well, I think so, because if it's like...
Yeah, it's a B flat major.
Yeah. So the first line of the verse would be...
Yeah. No, the first, yeah. Yeah, totally. And then the change you're talking about, going to the 4 chord.
Yeah.
A little figure. So that, you know, a lot of that. I'll play that kind of stuff. I can't remember exactly what I played on the
You said it before.
record.
Intentional and deliberate.
Yeah,
Every note is going somewhere and it just lands perfectly. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think I played something up here, like something like that. But basically, you know, just kind of playing over that, playing chord tones, you know, and then over this, playing kind of the melodic minor thing. So yeah, you could play a bunch of things.
So no
over
2-5-1s in there then?
Well, I mean, that's kind of a altered 5 going to there, and then, you know, and then, sort of, but I mean, it's sort of that vocabulary a little bit. I wish I could remember exactly what I played in there. Yeah, I can't remember exactly what I did.
It was really the theme and the approach.
Yeah, I mean, I would just, you know, that's one of those things like I was talking about earlier where you sort of pick your spot to put more notes in.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we did probably a few takes of that solo and kind of got to that one and it was like, okay, cool. That's the one.
Stop there.
I don't know if I could do it again. I mean, I could do it again if we listened to it, but I don't remember it, you know.
Yeah.
But that's
Just
the
sort of
thing
happened.
about a solo like that. You're never going to wing that unless you know what's going on. Because the changes
Yeah.
are moving, you know.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
Especially through the minor stuff.
Yeah.
You know, you having an idea about, okay, major 7, go to the altered chord, go to the minor chord, then we're going to the 4 major, you know,
Yeah.
knowing where those magic notes are to land, because you always seem to just, you go through a phrase and when the chord changes, you just hit and it just
Well, to me,
nails
it's just
it.
seeing the chord changes. So if I'm playing like, right, even just that, just knowing. You know, just having that sense. And then you can experiment, you know. Yeah, just experimenting with that. Yeah, just messing around with that stuff. Sorry, the jet lag, the humidity, there's a lot of things working against me
I
here.
think there's something else going on as well.
Yeah.
And you guys will relate to this, is when you start to think about it, because someone's asking
Yeah,
you,
of course.
different part of your brain takes over, doesn't it? And then the flow of what you've done your, for want of a better term, 10,000 hours learning
Yeah.
is kind of impeded by this. Hang on, I've got to stop and think about this. I did this
Well,
20 years ago.
And because I do so much teaching too, a lot of times, if I was to teach that, I would sit down and kind of go, okay, how am I gonna approach explaining this, and then kind of have a more fleshed out, thorough way of breaking it down. But that's different than playing.
Yeah.
And the solo that I played, I don't really. I mean, I could break it down. Maybe I'll send you a video later. I'll sit down with it and go, okay, what did I play?
But are you working them out, or are they're on the spot?
So it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
It's. I
You have
mean,
an idea.
that particular song we've played a ton live. I've played that a bunch live.
Right.
So yeah, some of it is just when you're doing the takes over time, you kind of refine it, and the little phrasing bits where it has to fall into place, because with the track going underneath. So if I do, say that's my first line, and then I'm going to go to this D altered chord, and I want to play, I want to make sure that lands. Yeah, we go to that chord.
Yeah.
So. Catch that last lick.
Yeah. Because you're playing through the change and you're implying this is where we're going, and no one's going to be surprised when we get there.
Yeah.
But then you've got that blues vocabulary that when you get there and that little perfect lick at the end, it's like
tension and release.
Yeah,
we're going to
it's tension and
squeeze and then we're
release,
going to let go.
so great, great.
For sure.
Amazing, mate. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and hang out with us.
Thank
It's
you
a big
so
deal.
much for having me.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Go and have a listen to Jack's new album.
Please do that.
It is fabulous. It's recorded so beautifully, and the playing on it is just immense. Really great. I think if we can get you to play us out, thank you all for watching. Please head to thatpedalshowstore.com, grab some stuff. Thanks to the preferred retailers in the description below.
Everything in the links below. Jack, have we forgot anything that we should mention that you need to mention?
No.
Good.
I think we're good. We hit it all.
Then more guitar playing.
Okay.